Will the Adidas Fear of God brand new releases set to drop mid-December? We're hoping. Will they be too expensive to really garner the attention, the attraction that you want to see for someone as respected as Jerry within this game? Well, if they're north of $250 or right in that range, maybe. If they're less than that, let's say if they truly are 160 to 170, we're in business. There will always be Jerry boys, Jerry girls, if you want to rope me into that, that's perfectly fine, who anticipate what he's coming out with, what's new, what's next, certainly what is the next chapter aside from just mainline and then essentials. Most of us have closely followed those collections that have dropped even past 2020. Like, he was consistently still cranking those out. I have plenty of videos on the channel here from new drops that occurred from 2020 through 2023. Well, not really now, because actually I didn't pick up anything for these new drops, but then also some things that I reach back for in time, and hopefully the sizing and just my thoughts on those items have helped you out in the past, and I appreciate any of the love you've shared on those videos. So there's a whole playlist. You can check that out. But a lot of us are excited to see what he's coming out with, and let's be real, Jerry doesn't really follow or care to be on everyone's their timeline, right? To box him in, to keep him on a schedule that you want. I don't think he really cares. Like, he just kind of brushes that aside, and he will finish things in his time. Now, as much as I respect that, with consumers today, they wait for no one. What are you doing for me right now? What are you providing for me right now? What emotion are you invoking right now? And his patience could play a part, not a good one. Maybe it could be detrimental to the release. I'm not 1000% sure of how that will go. But I wanted to discuss it today just really fast because we've seen looks now for the 86 low, and we'll touch on what I think that is supposed to truly be modeled after. But we've seen pics of that. Finally on foot looks, some in hand looks that we can talk about, and I think price will play a really big factor because we have to discuss the economy too. Cost of living is higher than any of us would like, okay? More than any of us appreciate right now. It's just higher, and the holidays are on the way. So that's an expensive time for individuals and households, but that's usually when these brands, they're closing out the year, Q4. It's their playoff time to really put everything they can into marketing and getting products off the shelf into your hands and to bolster their sales before they close out the actual fiscal year. You know that. I know that. I mean, there's a Jordan Holiday 11 for a reason. Now, I've dropped some looks, at least of what I've seen on social media, for the Fear of God, specifically Adidas Fear of God 86 low. That's all they're calling it. And Paul, if you haven't watched his video, Locust and Wild Honey, he has an in-hand look at one of these 86 low pairs. So he touched on sizing. He gives an up-close look, 360 of everything for the shoe itself, the details, the aesthetic. It's simple, it's timeless, and I know that it says form in that title, and it probably will say that in a few publications, but if you pay attention to the timeline and the archive of Adidas models, the 84 dropped before the Rivalry Low did, and so the 84 form is what the Bad Bunny pairs are truly modeled after. Now, he elevated those in his collaborations with Adidas. They're some of my favorite sneakers that I own, and I appreciate the subtle twist and changes that they make, but they don't get away from the original fully that we love if you're a Forum fan. Same thing with the 86 low. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to have the base of the Rivalry Low, which came out in 86, so it makes perfect sense there. And I would say if you have a chance, I don't know if you do, but if you would have a chance, if you're curious about sizing, try to go in store. If any boutique or store near you has a Rivalry Low in hand, hey, try it on. To be fair, based on what the cost could be, maybe order one from Adidas because they have like free returns if you're a member. So order one, try it on, see what the real size would be, what's comfortable for you. My concern would be, is it gonna fit narrow or comfortably? I've had my eye on a few Sambas. I just haven't gone in store to try them on. I've owned Sambas in the past, but I'm not sure now how comfortable they would be on my feet just in terms of width, and there's nothing worse than a shoe that's far too narrow, and I've dealt with that before. I still have that duck boot. I've tried to get rid of that thing. I guess I just need to price it lower on Grail to just get it out the door, because I'm never getting the money back truly for that. It's just lost. It's a lost cause at this point because I can't fit them comfortably, and I refuse to let my feet hurt just because I want to wear a shoe and I like the aesthetic of it. I'm just past that. But the Rivalry 86 low, that's truly what this is modeled after, and I think it is similar to what Bad Bunny has done to the Campus and then again to the Form. So we're going to see something elevated all suede, that cream midsole with a great upper. Like, that is a gorgeous pair to me. It fits right in line with the chapters of everything we've seen with Fear of God. If you're not a fan of that, then you probably won't be a fan of this, and you'll say, oh, we certainly waited so long for this, and it's just not worth it. You probably feel that way about consistent essentials drops. So to me, this was like a no-brainer. You wouldn't like this. There's no need to just waste any time on it. Now, Paul stated, we don't know, but the 86 low could be priced at 160. If that's the case, that is a great price point for this pair. Now, I say that because if you look at other, let's say, classic models from the 80s, right? If we look at an Air Max 1, if it's a collaboration, you're looking to pay about 160. I don't think an Air Max 1 should ever be like 150 or 160 on its own. Drop that sucker back down to like 120, 130, and now we're talking. But if it's a collab and they're pricing it at 160, they're right in line with that. If you look at regular GRs now for men's sizing, you're paying 180 minimum for just a Jordan 1. I'm paying that for women, okay? If I want to get a women's Air Jordan 1 high, guess what? I'm also paying that 180 price point before we even get to taxes. So giving me a really premium suede pair with the Fear of God itself, because we understand the branding does play a part in that. Let's just be real there. So Adidas and Fear of God coming together, it's 160. I think that's priced perfectly, and I think you will have people much more inclined to buy that if it's already part of their style and their aesthetic, in comparison to maybe a retro, in which it very well could go on sale like within a few weeks. I'm going to touch on that in terms of, there's a specific target market that I know that these brands have, and they hit it well. Just, I've noticed something, so I'll touch on that in an upcoming video. But if priced at 160, I think that's great. If these other models are priced much higher, you're now competing with people that really want other brands and models that are going to come out in colorways, and they will be at that higher price point. So now it's the opportunity cost of, I don't know, a 160 versus a 200 or a 220 or a 225. But then again, I've already spoken in another video recently, student loan payments are back in place for millions of people that have federal loans. So that plays a part too. If you think that it doesn't, you're sadly mistaken. It does play a part. So I think Jerry can certainly draw people in. A lot of anticipation. We now see what it is. For those of you who don't like it, please go ahead and step to the side so the rest of us can enjoy it if it's at this great price. But I would love to know your thoughts. If it's at 160, how do you think it does? If it's north of that, 200, 250, do you think we see these instantly go on discount? Because I've seen the chalk colorway for the Bad Bunny Campus go on sale. I don't know if it was Sneaker Politics or on End Clothing, but it's gone on sale. I've almost pulled the trigger on that. I would love a lower price point just so I can enjoy at least like 2 pairs just to start everything off. So please comment below. I really appreciate you guys tuning into any and all videos, especially when it comes to the fall content. You guys show me a lot of love with that, and I appreciate it. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.